Hello. So, okay, in this video, I'm going to walk you through this particular task. How you can actually finish this like one task here on the AWS. So basically, I'll just give you a hint how to do it. Let me show you my page, and you can see that I actually done it. Yeah, you see, this is the grade for each of the tasks from task 1 to 3E. Right. So I'm going to explain this particular task and what's supposed of you to do in this task and how you are going to achieve this task. So I copied this particular instruction and I post it on this GitHub and sorry in this my Google Docs just to explain it. Now here's the catch. The whole of this particular task, if you understand this structure, this particular structure, you are 80% done with the whole task. Let me paste it here on my Excel draw and I will explain it later. All right. So now here's the draft of task. So in this task, I'll use this diagram to explain it first. Then we can go back to the description. So you have your AW account here, which is this. Now, in each of the AWS, it has two categories. It has user and it has group, right? Based on the instruction. And in each of these user, we have user 1, user 2, user 3, right? This for the user. Then on the group, you have three kind of group. You have EC2 admin, EC2 support, and EC and S3 support, right? Now on this EC2 admin, you have only two policies that has been implemented, right? The policy to view, stack, and to stop the access. But it's all is just assigned to this particular user. This, let me use how to share this user account. Yeah, this one. So only user 1 has access to the EC2 admin. Now, what does the let me okay. All right, let me continue. So only the EC3, the user 3 has the access to this EC2 admin, right? So the user 3 has privilege to perform admin role, like to stop an instance, to create an instance, and other. Then the second group, which is the EC2 support. Now, this one has a minimal role, just to read only access, to read file, read document on the instance. And this particular privilege is just given to your user 2 here. This is your user 2. Then the last one, but not the least, your your S3 support, right? This instance is only give to user 1. And the only policy that is being implemented on this task is just a read access. If you can understand this diagram, you are halfway done with the task. So let me go back to my browser and still explain it further. So now here's the description of the task. So I'm using notebook LM to kind of visualize this particular task to make it simple, right? So it's a user group permission in practice lab, right? That's the task of this. So now in this lab, now it categorized into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 sections, right? The first one has to do with the introduction, in which they introduce you to the AWS managed access. They talk about some other things and the rest. Then secondly, they now give us overview of the lab, right? Now in this lab, they say, okay, we already have a pre-create IAM user and group, right? That's identity access management. That's for both for user and for group, right? And they ask you to inspect the policy. They ask you to add user to group based on scenario, based on the business scenario. They ask you to locate user in the signing URL. And lastly, they say you should experiment the policy that is being done to this role. So now here's the key concept here, right? Now the first one is the user IAM, right? The identity access management for the user. Now in this section now we have this, okay, create a user, assign security credential to that particular user, in which we know that user one has different kind of group, user two have different kind of group, user three have different kind of group. So you create a user, you assign security credentials, access key permission, and multi-factor authentication. You manage permission for user operation. Then the next one, apart from creating user, is their role. AWS identity help you to manage this permission policy. So by assigning roles to each of these users, so we are allowed to assign role to each of these users based on the policy. Now, this policy, you can only get this policy from the business scenario, right? So you say, okay, let me quickly jump to this. I am policy. So in this particular task, they say you should define an allowed or deny action. Okay. The second one, they say basic structure, right? On the basic structure, we have effects, right? Now we know that it has three this thing. We have the effect, action, and resource. So on the effect, you either allow or deny. Action has to do with the API call. That's example, the cloud washer, list metrics, and all that. The second one is the resources. These resources have to do with the AWS S3 bucket. So the type of policy, right? We have type of policy here. They say manage policy, pre-build, attach user group, and update the recent. So now let's go here. Then that's for the I am concept. This one is just the particular task is just teaching you about the concept and everything. So let's go to the major one, which is the lab environment details. So yeah, on the lab environment details, we have AWS restriction apply. Now the duration of this lab is just for 40 minutes. Guys, 40 minutes will allow you to do whatever you want to do, right? Except maybe during your lab, you're in Nigeria or this underdeveloped country, may particularly during your lab. Sorry for that, but 40 minutes will allow you to do your lab and finish it, right? It doesn't take me up to a minute, 1 minute for me to finish this lab. So you can finish this lab within this 40 minutes. 40 minutes is just too much. So they say that's the duration of the lab. But in case 40 minutes is not enough, and you notice that your lab is getting to 40 minutes, you can go back to the platform and reset it. Your time will now reset back to 0 and start counting back to 40 minutes. So we have like an unlimited time for that. So the time constraint shouldn't be an issue. Now they say accessing your console. How do you access your console on AWS, right? So on the top bar, there's a start lab in which you wait for your green icon. Guys, this is the green icon. Now my own is red because my instance is closed. So for your own, once you start it, you click this start lab here. This is the start lab here. The AWS icon notification will come to red. So, and this allows you to get a credit for you to do whatever you want to do. Now, the second one now lead us to the main scenario, which is the business scenario, right? As a cloud practitioner, you work with the business scenario, right? So now, first, what are the company growing with, right? They have two things, which is the EC2 and S3 bucket, right? That's the major thing that the business has, right? So they say, okay, and what you have to do now is to get access to new staff based on their job function. In the business scenario, you have the finance department, you have the developers, you have the analytical aspect and everything. So in this whole scenario, you have to set policy based on this different department. Somebody from finance has nothing to do with the API core of your product, right? So that's why this business scenario is very, very important. So now let's go to the next one, the lab task now. Now this lab task is only just three. You have three tasks here. Task one, they say explore user and group. This is just a very simple task. All they need from you is to go to AWS, check whether this user are actually there, and if this group are actually created. They are already created for you, so it's just for you to go there and check the console if they are there, right? Then we say, okay, pre-create user. So check if user one is there, does he